Hello everyone, Gardiken here, and I am going to show you my Liberator deck. And if you notice, I got a new sexy mat of my avatar, and I've got the deck in Rainbow Wood sleeves just because I don't have any Liberator sleeves right now that I'm interested in. But, let's just get started. So the starting unit is going to be Liberator Cheer Up Trumpeter, mainly because I don't play enough Blaster Blade for Wingull to be useful. So this is a really nice card for the deck. It's focused around what the deck is, which is calling units from the deck, and I think it's the best starter that you can have unless you're playing for Blaster Blade. Triggers, I just got the standard 4 Epon, 4 Strike Liberator, 4 Gwydion, and 4 Elixir Liberators. So it's the basic 8 crit 4 draw build. Grade 1s, I have 2 Liberator Marin, which is basically the Liberator version of K from Royal Paladins back in the day. 4 Fast Chase Liberator Josephus. When he's superior called from the deck, you can Soul Blast 1 to draw a card. It's basically a Liberator version of Dindrain from the original Gold Paladins. 4 Mayrain Liberator Bruno. This is a very, very good card. It's really good for the deck. Whenever you superior call a unit from the deck, this guy gets +3. So instead of playing Gareth, you can play this guy, and it's actually a really, really good solution. Sure, you'll lose 1,000 a lot of the times, but more often than not, really, you're going to be boosting for at least 10. And if you use Garmor's Limit Break, that can be up to another 12k added onto this guy, so you can be boosting for 19, which is really, really good. And I've got 3 Perfect Guards. I know people keep telling you that 4 is the staple in every deck, but in this deck, with the amount of stuff that you got that you call from the deck, 3 is just the perfect amount. Because if you play 4, chances are you're going to end up calling 1 over to a rear guard, like somewhere around here or something. And instead of having a perfect guard in your hand, you're going to have a 6k on the field. And that's not a good idea. So if you keep it at 3, you'll be just fine. 2 is not enough, 4 is too many for this deck. You're going to be perfect with 3. I got 4 Liberator Galatine, staple, basic 10k. 4 Liberator of Royalty Fallon. He's the Bedivere of Liberators, basic 12k for sub clans. 2 Liberator of the Flute Escrad. I play Escrad basically because he's a Liberator version of Vivian, and instead of boosting, you just got a counterblast of Liberator. It's really good. It's better for the deck than Vivian can ever be, so it's also good for this guy over Vivian, because when you go up against a Link Joker and you got him here and this rear guard will be locked or something, it's better to have him because you can still swing with him, and if it hits, you can just counterblast the one to call something like over here. Really, really good. And I got 2 Blaster Blade Liberator. Now, I only play 2 just because, partly because I don't have the money for 4, but also I feel 2 is enough because having a 2 counterblast can be kind of expensive, like counterblast wise for the deck, but you don't want to be using too much counterblast on stuff like Blaster Blade because you want to save some of it for your limit breaks later on in the deck. But this is a really good card to play 2 of, and you need a Liberator Vanguard. I used to play this in Rayleigh Gold Paladins because I didn't know that you had to have a Liberator Vanguard. I misread the card, but RTFC, right? Alright, now, for the grade 3s, I've got 4 of the Break Ride. Ganslot's a really, really good Break Ride. Sometimes you don't need all 4, but if you have 4 in there, it just gives you that higher probability of making the break ride happen. So also it's an 11 on rear guards, which is just nice to have from time to time. Alright, 1 Liberator of the Round Table, Alfred. Now I only play 1 just because I don't want him early game. I want to have him late game when it's starting to get down there. I'm at 5 damage. I don't. The opponent's like at 4 or 5, and I want to really just start swinging for high numbers to get them to reduce their shield and make sure that I can hit. So he's a really good card. His limit break is he gets 2,000 for every Liberator, and you can counterblast 2 Liberators to superior call the top card of your deck. It's basically just a Liberator version of Blonde Ezel. But I like having 1 to swing for high numbers later in the game, and he's not a really bad Vanguard either. If you got him at as your first one, it's a really good card to have all around. If you got 1, that's fine. If you want to build the whole deck around Alfred, go right ahead. But my playstyle and Garmor, obviously, I'm going to be playing 3 Wolffang Liberator Garmor, and 1 is SP. Now, Wolffang Liberator Garmor, not only is he my avatar, but it's my favorite card. I love his effects. You counterblast 3 Liberators and you basically fill your field. Now, that works really, really well with Bruno, and if you just call a trigger, it's not that huge of a deal, because his second ability is if you choose a Liberator and put it on the bottom of your deck, you can get 4,000 power added to him for this turn. So you just swing with these 2 over here, and you have a trigger here or here or something. Then you use his second ability when he attacks. So you just take one of these triggers, put it on the bottom of the deck. Maybe later you'll get a card that lets you shuffle your deck or something. And what Garmor does is, when you do that, you get 4,000 power, and you get a trigger back in the deck. So that's really, really nice. And then once you do that, if they block for 2 to pass, you can put the triggers here or here if you're ballsy. But you can put the triggers here and then swing again with a 4th rear guard to get a really nice formation. And chances are you're going to have another card in your hand that you can just replace this unit with, or you'll get something off the twin drive. But yeah, Liberators are basically a really good deck. I've always liked the gold Paladins, and seeing that Garmor was a Liberator, I just had ultimate fangasm. Like, I'm playing Liberators. I don't care what anyone says. I'm playing Liberators mainly because they're gold Paladins, and I've stuck with gold Paladins since the beginning, and because they got my avatar again. So that's all. Hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.